It's a business right now, and Manny Pacquiao, he's going to get paid for what he does.
Absolutely. Floyd Mayweather.
I want to fight him right now. He's our first choice. He's the easiest fight out of the three.
Really?
Yeah. He's small. He's fragile. He hasn't fought in 2 years. What's the big deal? Where's the greatness? He struggled with Oscar. We killed him. He struggled with Haddon for the first 6 rounds. We killed him. Why is everyone so great? He was great at 135 and 140, but at 47 and 54, he's not great.
Right. Prediction if that fight happens. What round?
We'll get him somewhere. He'll run for a while, but he can't run all night long. It'll be a late stoppage, but he'll hurt something. He's fragile. His ribs, his shoulders, his hands. He's got all the excuses in the world. Just show up and fight, Floyd. Come on.
So Freddie, I guess the burning question is that we're seeing a lot of jabs between Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. And the many times we've had you on, we've always asked you about that fight. But realistically now, because it's been so long, do you think that fight's getting any closer of ever happening?
Well, I think the right people are talking to each other. I think, Bob Arum told me that he was going to have a meeting with Moon Booth, the president of CBS, and I think the two guys that can do it are at least talking together. And I'm a lot optimistic. I think that it's a good sign, but I'm still not sure if it's going to happen though.
Right. Let me ask you this. I mean, how do you guys keep your guys self motivated in terms of fighting other fighters out there that are just put on the list to keep you guys busy? I mean, how do you keep you guys up to it, and knowing that the biggest fight in history is right there, but it's the other guys and the other team that just don't want to seem to play ball with you guys?
Yeah, Manny's pretty good about that, and he knows that he's not going to sit around and wait for anybody. If that fight doesn't come, we will stay busy with other fights and hopefully, getting prepared for the big fight of the biggest fight of all time. But I told Manny last time I thought that the commercial he did and what he did in the ring was a little bit maybe embarrassing for Mayweather, and I told him, I said, instead of being a gentleman and just saying, my promoter will pick who I fight next, I said, call him out every chance you get, because we've got to get something going here that the press is going to lead it, and he's going to come to the table and fight. So I told, I said, Manny, just every time you're on TV, do that commercial, do it, and call him out, embarrass him into fighting you somehow, and because we definitely want that fight, and
right.
We've done everything possible, I think, to make it happen. He asked for a 60-40 split. We said okay. We know he's like the A side of this fight. He's the undefeated guy still, but it's, only until he gets in the ring with Manny Pacquiao, though.
And here's the thing, too, Freddie. This is Gabriel. You guys have been doing testing for the last few fights. I think the last 3 fights now. Is that part of the reason for that? Is to say, look, that hurdle doesn't exist. But also, I imagine it's to protect yourself. But one, I applaud you that you're doing it. But is that part of it? Is for Manny is to kind of try to erase what everybody says about him, and also just to get over that hurdle and just get this fight done.
Yeah, we're doing everything possible to get over the hurdle and get this fight done. And the thing is, right now we have to go after the young generation, because the only old generation guys out there are Mayweather and him. So, we're going out, Algieri, everyone thought he was like the next Rocky, and, they made such a big deal about this young
right.
kid who beat Ruslan, and then, I told him, believe me, Manny and Ruslan are many, many worlds apart. Manny's a lot better than you think, and I think they believe me now, but it took them a while to convince them.
I was down at the Wild Card, Freddie, and I interviewed you. You had told me, and this is when the time when you guys were facing Cotto, Margarito, and Mosey and all these guys, and you told me out of all those guys, Floyd Mayweather would be the easiest fight for you guys to take. Do you still believe that?
Yes, I do. I think he's hand chosen every one of his opponents. He's he picks the right styles, and we know he doesn't fight southpaws well. I think that's part of the reason why he's ducking us. And a southpaw with power is dangerous. And Manny showed the other night against Algieri that his legs are great. He was on his toes for 12 straight rounds, and I don't think Mayweather can do that anymore. I think he's getting old, and I think his legs are gone, and it's just a matter of time before we knock him out.
Freddie, what are your thoughts about, speaking about testing, I don't know if your people have ever told you, but Paulie Malignaggi continues to really kind of just bash Manny Pacquiao about the testings and why there should be testing. What do you think that all stems from? He's a guy that went to your gym, trained out of your gym, but then leaves and then still at it.
He was like a good friend of ours, and we sparred together and so forth. I don't know where in the world he got that Manny would do drugs, because Manny is like one of the cleanest guys in the world that I know. And any testing we've ever done, we've always been cleared, and. I don't know where Paulie went there, because I did think Paulie was a good friend of the wild cards. He had a good run out of here, but I guess jealousy is bigger than that, and he's a little bit jealous that Manny Pacquiao is still going on, and he's not.
The Miguel Cotto and Saul Canelo fight, I would have to say in 2015, if you talk about big mega fights in history, this is a big mega fight. I think it's going to break numbers. I think it's going to draw a huge crowd of Latinos out there. Do you think that fight, which should be happening in 2015, do you think that also put pressure on Floyd to kind of show that he has some interest with Manny, or no?
Definitely so, because that is a big fight, and we need the best to fight the best, and that's one of and those two guys are the best fighting the best in the division. I think it's a great fight. I think it's great competition. I think it puts a lot of pressure on Floyd, and I look forward to this fight because I look forward to challenges and getting Cotto ready for that fight. Miguel called me last week and told me December 7th he'll be in town. We're going to work for a couple of weeks just to get some of the cobwebs off, because we've had a little bit of layoff. So before Christmas, we will be training at the wild card, and just vaguely I'm going to start a game plan over that particular opponent, because I think that will be definitely. I definitely feel that's going to happen, and I think that's going to be a huge, huge fight. And it's one of the fights the world wants to see. It's a lot of love, hatred between the Puerto Ricans and the Mexicans. It's a great fight, and I look forward to getting ready for that. And Miguel's, he's really turned the corner with me. We've had great results in his last two fights. He's a dedicated, hard worker. I love working with this guy, and I think that's the fight I want to see. And so I think the rest of the world is right with me there.